I've been told I make it hard for somebody to love me. It was traumatic. It wasn't the worst. I don't want to say it was like hard or the worst, but it was pretty tough for me. I even attempted suicide twice before the age of 13. And growing up, I moved around. I transitioned schools, things like that. Once I got into high school, I didn't know who I was, and my trauma had shaped my identity. So I was living out of fear. I always had a guard up, ready to. Welcome y'all to my very first episode of my podcast, Becoming. I know when I released the news on Facebook, everybody was excited for me, but Instagram, this is y'all first time seeing me. I started my podcast because I have a lot to say, and I needed a larger platform to say it. Also, I wanted to give y'all some longer content to look at and go really deeper into the topics that I wanted to touch on. So, yeah, I'm back from my social media break. I needed some time for my mental health. Take a break for that. I did it because I was kind of burnt out from social media. I was making all my content and texting everybody, and like the first thing I did when I woke up was looked at my phone. I was like, this is a problem. So I had to get off social media. I got off Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, like every social media platform. I didn't get off Pinterest because that's where it's at, but I did that. While that happened, so many doors opened for me. I went to Atlanta, Florida. I've been to Mississippi, Texas, met new people, stayed in multi-million-dollar homes. Like, so many doors open for me. So it was needed. I'm glad I did it, and I encourage you to do it because it's a life changer. You learn so many new things about yourself, spending more alone time with yourself. You learn things about the people around you. You're more open and aware to the energies around you and the people and what's going on. You're more sensitive to your environment. So if you feel like you're being called to take a social media break, go ahead and take it, delete it, disappear, and come back when you're ready. So now that I'm back, my podcast, Becoming. Before I go into why I named it Becoming, I want you to know who I am, because a lot of you do know me, but you don't know me. You don't know my story. And there's a whole backstory to why I do what I do, why I say what I say, and why I'm so passionate about the things that I say. Growing up, grew up in Louisiana. I'm the oldest of 6 children. Very small town. Everybody knew everybody. I was physically and verbally abused as a child. So I've been through like the CPS experience. I've had to like strip to my bra and underwear in front of my counselors to look at my body. I've gone to court and I've wrote letters to judges, and I've been told I make it hard for somebody to love me. It was traumatic. It wasn't the worst. I don't want to say it was like hard or the worst, but it was pretty tough for me. I even attempted suicide twice before the age of 13. And growing up, I moved around. I transitioned schools, things like that. Once I got into high school, I didn't know who I was, and my trauma had shaped my identity. So I was living out of fear. I always had a guard up, ready to fight, ready to be defensive. I didn't know who I was. Like I had said, I would hang around with just anybody, and I fell into the group of wrong people. I got around drugs, started smoking weed. Got to the point where I seen the weed was bad for me. I woke up, wanted it. Like, I don't want to say I was an addict because I wasn't, but you know, it was like, okay, Christiana, you're doing too much. So I let that go. And then God came in my life and changed it for the better. I got into a few fights, and I was a mess, y'all. Like, I'm even struggling saying it right now, just thinking about it, because I was a hot mess. But my transition happened whenever I met my counselor. After one of the fights I almost got into, his name is Carter. He goes by Carter. He's the disciplinarian at the high school that I went to. And he introduced me to a whole new way of being. And I feel like God worked through him for me. And he taught me about mindset. And he told me, like, you can never control your money if you can't control your mind. And I know a lot of us want to be successful. We want to be millionaires, billionaires, whatever your goal is financially. Let me tell you something. If you don't know how to control your emotions, if you don't even know who you are, you're not going to get it. And I'm saying all of this from a genuine space because I want you to really pick up on this. I know some of y'all, oh, she just talking. No, I'm really not. Like, if I could leave you with one thing, it's learn who you are, because once you do, you'll learn who to keep around you and who not to keep around you. You'll learn what boundaries you need to set. It'll form the direction for your life. And so, got abused physically and verbally. Grew up traumatic, went to high school, started fighting, got into weed, met Carter, life changed. I met another friend, life changed. I got good spiritually with God. Like right now, a relationship with God is number one for me. And it has been since my transformation happened. Started listening to better music. I don't know how y'all listen to the music that y'all listen to. If y'all listen to music talking about killing and robbing and stealing and fighting, when I tell you that affects you very large, and I preach this all the time. Y'all probably tired of me saying this, but I'm gonna continue to say it because it's just that important. Change the music I was listening to, change the people I was around, had to cut some people off, had to have some hard conversations. And now, y'all, when I tell y'all God has exposed me to so much abundance and beauty, truth and power and passion and just essence, it's crazy what a lifestyle change can do for you. So if you're not living right, live right. Take my advice and just start living right. Tune into this podcast. Take what I give you and use it to your fullest advantage. Tap in with me. Tap in with the resources around you, the people that love you and that want to see you win. And it'll just be a life changer for you. And that's why I named the podcast Becoming. There's a principle that on that journey I lived by, and it's called the Be, Do, Have principle. I learned it from one of my mentors. His name is Myron Golden, so go check him out. I'm not stealing his stuff. I'm referencing him because I don't want y'all to tag me. The Be, Do, Have principle. And it goes, be a little, do a little, have a little. So a lot of times we want to skip to the have. We want the stuff, but we don't want to become the person that we need to become to have the stuff. We don't want to do the things that we have to do to become, to have the stuff. And he gave the analogy, an apple tree. He said an orange will never fall from an apple tree because the apple, how did he put it? I can't remember how he put it. But he said the fruit that falls from a tree is because of the root. That's how he said it. Something like that. And that when he said that, it stuck with me. I can't expect all this fruit if the root is messed up. You can't expect all this fruit if the root is messed up. So be a little, do a little, have a little. Be a lot, do a lot, have a lot. You have to focus on becoming the internal things that go on inside. Determine what external things go on outside. The internal belief system, your values, your morals, who you are internally. The depression, is that wiped away? Is the suicidal thoughts wiped away? The anxiety, all of that shapes your outside world. And you have to focus on you internally first before you can expect anything to be pretty on the outside. And that's why I named this podcast Becoming, because it focuses on the internal characteristics that you would need to have an abundant life. So I hope I see y'all in 2 weeks. Contact information is Christi Richardson on Instagram. Go tap in with me if you're not following me already. My website is ChristiRichardson.com. You can follow me there. Facebook, Christiana Richardson. And I hope to see y'all next time in 2 weeks. Peace.